Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is English Bulletin with me, Yutsab Bhattrai. The top stories first. Prime Minister Oli alleges India of distorting culture, says Ayodhya is not the real birthplace of Lord Ram. Home Minister blames India for massive floods and inundation. House Committee directs government to remove illegal structure in border areas. Government confirms 144 new cases of coronavirus. More than 10,000 recover from the disease. UN agencies release grim assessment of food security. One pandemic could push tens of millions into chronic hunger. And Southampton dents Manchester United's top four hopes. Chelsea to play Norwich tonight. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli has alleged India of cultural distortion by setting up a fake Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Ram. Nepal's cultural facts have been misrepresented and encroached by the Indian side, Prime Minister Oli said during a program organized on the occasion of Bhanu Jayanti at his official residence in Balwatar yesterday. Ayodhya, Lord Ram's kingdom, originally lies at Thori in West Birgunj, Nepal, Prime Minister Oli stated.
भारतका राजकुमार रामलाई सीता दियो भारतका होइन अयोध्याकालाई दिएका थियौँ हामीले अयोध्या भनेको वीरगञ्जभन्दा अलिकति पश्चिमपट्टिको गाउँ हो अहिले खडा गरिएको अयोध्या होइन अयोध्या भीषण विवाद छ हाम्रोमा विवादै गर्नु पर्दैन जनकपुर त्यहाँ अयोध्या वीरगञ्जको पश्चिमपट्टि थोरीमा वाल्मीकि आश्रम थियो र दशरथबाट सन्तान नभएपछि उत्कृष्ट यज्ञ लगाउने पण्डितजी रेडीका
Prime Minister Oli questioned how could Lord Ram establish matrimonial ties with Sita from Janakpur had he actually been from what India presents as Ayodhya in the prehistorical times. It would have been impossible for Lord Ram to cover such distance without any means of communication, Prime Minister Oli opined.
छोरीको बिहे गर्न खोजिया छ कहिले के गरेको त्यस बेलाका जमानामा न टेलिफोन न मोबाइल कताबाट थाहा होस् थाहा हुन पनि सम्भव थियो नजिकै पर्थ्यो सजिलैसँग गएको तर त्यो इतिहास बहस गरी साध्य छैन अब यो भनेपछि फेरि एक हप्तामा माथि
Prime Minister Oli further said, although many inventions and discoveries were made in Nepal, they failed to receive acknowledgement and eventually were discontinued. Janata Television has entered its fourth year into operation. With the tagline, By the People, for the People, it started its broadcast on 13th of July 2017 and has not looked back since. Janata Television is the first community-owned channel in the history of Nepali media industry. The television is operated by its parent company Janata Prasaran and Prakashan Company and has been broadcasting TV news and other entertainment programs. On the occasion of its annual day and the 207th Bhanu Jayanti, a poetry recitation program was held on television premises yesterday. Speaking at the special occasion yesterday, Chairman of Janata Prasaran and Prakashan Company, Dr. Vijay Kumar Paudal, said the triad of Janata Television, Radio Janata and JanataSamachar.com have always held on to the journalism ethics by producing unbiased content and will continue to do so in future. The social responsibility of a media house will never come second to the commercial side of journalism, Dr. Paudal added.
यहाँहरूलाई ढुक्क भएर काम गर्न, किनभने अर्गनाइजेसन भनिसकेपछि त्यो सबैको मेहनतले मात्रै अगाडि जान्छ। यहाँ चाहिँ पर हाम्रो सुरक्षाको लागि खटिने हाम्रो गार्डदाईदेखि लिएर अनि सबभन्दा माथि जिम्मा दिने मसम्म यहाँ यो सबै कार्यकारी अधिकृतहरू, सबै समाचार वाचकदेखि लिएर एडिटरहरू, वरिष्ठ सम्पादकहरू सबैको उत्तिकै जिम्मेवारी छ। र यो सन्दर्भमा यति राखिसकेपछि यहाँहरू सबैलाई शुभकामना दिन चाहन्छु। हामीले एउटा फरक धारको काम गर्न प्रयास गरेका छौँ, गरि पनि राखेका छौँ। अहिलेसम्म हामीले समाचारलाई व्यवसाय बनाएका छैनौँ। हाम्रो व्यवसाय छ समाचारको बिचमा विज्ञापन बजाएर हामीले आय आर्जन गर्ने योजना राखेका छौँ। तर समाचारलाई, मैले भनेको अर्थ बुझ्नुहुन्छ होला, समाचारमा आउने गम्भीर समाचारहरूलाई लेनदेनको विषय हामीले बनाएको छैनौँ र भविष्यमा बनाउने छैनौँ।
Chief Executive Officer of Janata Television, Dr. Ramesh Paudel, said the television has been successfully marching on its pursuit of unbiased journalism even in testing times. Senior literary figure and musician Professor Dr. Krishnahari Baral also recited his poem in the program and pointed out to the importance of Nepali media houses in the development of Nepali language as a whole. Many staffers of Janata Television also recited their own poems in the program.
भने म पहाड बन्ने छु, तिमीले मेरा अक्षर मेट्न खोज्यौ भने म तिमीलाई नै मेटाउन सक्ने छु, किनकि म उत्तरमा छु, उत्तुङ्ग शिखरमा छु, तिमीले ढोग गर्ने उत्तरापन्थमा छु। म बेसीको बसाहा होइन, म बेसीको बसाहा होइन, भुँडी भर्ने भरको भरत पनि होइन। म त शिरले बाँच्ने शक्ति हुँ, आकाशको आशीर्वादले उभिने प्रस्तर जस्तै पुरुष हुँ। मैले
In the program, Operations Director Narayan Subedi, Secretary Vishnu Bhattrai, literary figure Nilkantha Bhattrai, Madhav Bhusal, Bhavani Khatiora, including others, expressed their warm wishes for a brighter future for the television. With its head office at Meen Bhawan, Kathmandu, Janata Television has already set up its provincial offices in all 7 provinces. The company is committed to producing quality content and unbiased news through all its news portals in days to come. Landslides triggered by innocent rainfall have claimed 11 lives in Tanahu district. District Police Office Tanahu confirmed the death toll yesterday. According to police, landslides occurred in Bias municipality as well as rising in Miagdi rural municipality of the district. 2 houses were buried in Majkot of Bias municipality, killing 40-year-old Kamala Thapa, 24-year-old Manoj Thapa, 21-year-old Anjana Thapa, 20-year-old Rajesh Thapa and 60-year-old Malati Kumari Gharti, informed SP Arjun Paudel. Likewise, 28-year-old Pesh Bahadur Thapa, 22-year-old Mahadev Thapa, 20-year-old Manisara Thapa, 28-year-old Minimaya Thapa and 5-year-old Anisha Thapa of Patliang in Rising Rural Municipality also perished in the landslide. Meanwhile, Lakshmi BK of Miagdi died while undergoing treatment in the Mauli Hospital. Now, Home Minister Ram Bahadur Thapa has said the reason for massive floods in the Nepali side of the border is due to the influence of India. Home Minister Thapa added that Nepal's inability to do anything about India's hegemony has time and again caused floods in Nepal's side of the border. Speaking at a meeting of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee of the Parliament, Thapa said the huge dam-like roads on the Indian side have been built to cause floods along the Nepali side. The problems have rather excavated over time because the treaties between the 2 countries have never been implemented and exist only on paper, Thapa added.
समानान्तर रूपमा बाँधहरु बनाइदिँदाखेरि त्यहाँ चाहिँ उनीहरुले बाँध रूपी बाटोहरु बनाउँदाखेरि पनि हरेक वर्ष नि अब डुबान हुने गरेको छ तराई क्षेत्रहरुमा चाहिँ नि त्यो एक ढंगले चाहिँ भारतीय पक्षले चाहिँ हामी नेपालमा एउटा हस्तक्षेप नै हो त्यो चाहिँ हामीले अर्को रूपबाट भन्दाखेरि राजनीतिक रूपबाट भन्दाखेरि त्यो एउटा हस्तक्षेप नै हो चाहिँ.
Minister Thapa said a probe committee was formed during Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Nepal, but it never carried out its works. Meanwhile, the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee has instructed the government to remove all structures that have been causing inundation in the border areas. The Parliamentary Committee ordered the government to take initiative to remove the roads, dams and embankments built in the border areas against international laws. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. We continue with other national news. The government has confirmed 144 new cases of coronavirus in the country. Meanwhile, 1,705 persons returned home yesterday after successful recovery. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, tests conducted in 25 different labs across the country confirmed 144 new cases in Nepal. With this, the total number of infection in the country surged to 16,945. The ministry informed that 10,294 persons have recovered from the disease.
वटा प्रयोगशालामा 5,856 जनाको रियल टाइम पीसीआर विधिबाट नमुना परीक्षण भएको छ र आज संक्रमित हुनुहुनेहरूको जम्मा संख्या 144 छ र हाल सक्रिय संक्रमितको संख्या 6,613 छ र हालसम्म संक्रमित हुनुहुनेहरू हाल संक्रमित प्लस संक्रमण मुक्त भई डिस्चार्ज हुनेहरू सहित जम्मा 16,945 हुनुहुन्छ.
So far, coronavirus has claimed 38 lives in Nepal. The advertising agencies of Nepal have been asking the implementation of the Clean Feed Act as soon as possible, as the law on which it is based has already been formulated. All service providers seem to be technically and mentally prepared to transition into clean feed broadcast. Advertising Association Nepal has said all service providers are ready to implement the Clean Feed Act and said instead of waiting till 24th October to bring it into action, we can bring it live starting the new fiscal year. Advertising Association Nepal has clarified that the Clean Feed was already implemented last year in October, but because of the technical inability of some cable service providers, the date was extended by a year. AAN has claimed that although the Clean Feed Act is already in place, many foreign language advertisements are shown in the source language than in native language. The Nepal Media Society has also confirmed that all service providers are ready to move on to Clean Feed and that the government should set a deadline for 16th July to implement it. The government is also on the verge of finalizing all the necessary arrangements to implement the Clean Feed as soon as possible. Advertisement-free TV channel operation is called the Clean Feed. Many foreign language channels have been freely advertising to the Nepali market until now. However, after its implementation, Clean Feed will not allow free advertisement and the channels will have to be made available without it. According to the Advertisement Act 076, the Clean Feed Act must come into operation from 24th October. Similarly, multi-systems operator, the distributor of foreign channels in Nepal, has resumed broadcasting Indian channels except the likes of Zee News, Aaj Tak and ABP. Chairman of multi-systems operator Dinesh Subedi informed that they have resumed transmission of all other Indian channels except the ones that have been spreading fake news and harming the sovereignty of Nepal. The ban on those news channels presenting sensitizing news will remain in place, informed Subedi. He further said that they decided to air other channels keeping in view the demand of the subscribers. Changru and Tinka areas of Bias Rural Municipality in Darchula have started facing food shortage due to lack of proper roads for food supply in the areas. Earlier, residents of Bias who moved to Kuncha secured food via Indian Roadways and China's Taklakot. This process has been obstructed as all international borders remain shut due to coronavirus threats. The price of rice earlier exported by China has reached as high as 250 rupees per kilo in Changru, informed shopkeeper Dev Singh Khati. Although the government has been airlifting food supplies for security forces deployed at the area, locals have so far failed to receive any relief from the government. Authorities have confirmed the government will be shortly sending 200 quintals of rice to both Changru and Tinker. So far, 119 homes have been registered in Changru and 70 in Tinker. And now, the news from Economic Front. The Finance Committee of the Law House yesterday held an interaction regarding the monetary policy for the upcoming fiscal year. Committee members and former ministers stressed that monetary policy should include all important issues missed by the upcoming fiscal year's budget. Speaking at the discussion program, Governor of Nepal Rashtra Bank Mahaprasad Adhikari informed at least 30,000 loanees can avail a service from the amount collected at Loan Renewal Trust. The upcoming monetary policy will require each branch office of the bank to finance at least 5 loan renewal programs, Governor Adhikari further stated. The Renewal Trust has been set up to expand its service by 5 times in case of emergency, Governor Adhikari added. As both the budget and policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year were not satisfactory, the monetary policy should address key areas and concerns untouched by the budget, said former Prime Minister Dr. Baburam Bhattarai. Former Finance Minister Gyanendra Bahadur Karki stressed on achieving the target of 7% economic growth and controlling inflation in the country. Another former Finance Minister, Gokarna Bista, emphasized on mobilizing the finance sector to increase the national production of goods. And now the international news. The United Nations says the ranks of the world's hungry grew by 10 million last year and warns that the coronavirus pandemic could push as many as 130 million more people into chronic hunger this year. According to AP, the grim assessment was contained in the latest edition of the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World. The annual report was released Monday by the 5 UN agencies that produced it. Preliminary projections based on available global economic outlooks suggest the pandemic may add an additional 83 to 132 million people to the ranks of the undernourished in 2020, the report said. The report noted that after steadily declining for decades, chronic hunger slowly began to rise in 2014 and continues to do so. In terms of sheer numbers, Asia is the home to greatest number of undernourished people, an estimated 381 million, the report said. The UN agencies said a staggering 3 billion people or more can't afford to acquire the food needed for a healthy diet. As a result of the pandemic, food supply disruptions, lost livelihoods and the inability of the people working abroad to send a remittance home to their families means it's even more difficult for the poorer and vulnerable population to have access to healthy diets, the UN agencies concluded. More than 200 universities are backing a legal challenge to the Trump administration's new restrictions on international students, AP reported. According to the news agency, the universities have been arguing that the policy jeopardizes students' safety and forces schools to reconsider fall plans they have spent months preparing. The lawsuit challenges a recently announced directive saying international students cannot stay in the US if they take all their classes online this fall. A wide range of colleges and state and local officials are standing up to the policy, which faces mounting legal opposition. Massachusetts University filed a federal suit Monday that was joined by Democratic attorneys general in 16 other states and the District of Columbia. Other suits come from Johns Hopkins University and the state of California. The University of California system has said it will sue. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Manchester United have missed the chance to go third in the table after Southampton snatched a 2-2 draw yesterday. United was taking a comfortable 2-1 lead until Southampton substitute Michael Obafemi presented the Saints with a 2-2 draw at Old Trafford. Manchester United had the perfect opportunity to secure the Champions League place after Chelsea and Leicester both suffered big defeats earlier this weekend, but went lagging behind early after Stuart Armstrong scored in the 12th minute. However, Marcus Rashford levelled things up 8 minutes later before a superb Anthony Martial's strike, his 50th Premier League goal, put the host ahead until deep into second half injury time when Michael Obafemi bundled the ball home, Sky Sports reported. The draw means Manchester United stayed put in the 5th spot behind Leicester based on goal difference. BBC has cited United coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as saying, "I'm very confident in the players mentally. I'm disappointed, of course, but you have to take the disappointments as well as the positives. We have learned a hard lesson. We will put it right. I trust the boys in that respect." The battle for top 4 continues as third-placed Chelsea will face Norwich City at Stamford Bridge today night. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Prime Minister Oli alleges India of distorting culture, says Ayodhya is not the real birthplace of Lord Ram. Home Minister blames India for massive floods and inundation. House Committee directs government to remove illegal structures in border areas. Government confirms 144 new cases of coronavirus. More than 10,000 recover from the disease so far. The UN agencies release grim assessment of food security. Warn pandemic could push tens of millions into chronic hunger. And Southampton dents Manchester United's top 4 hopes. Chelsea to play Norwich tonight. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website at JanataSamachar.com. We urge all our viewers to follow government directives of the lockdown and follow healthy hygienic practices to keep safe from any infection. Keep washing your hands, keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.